What's good, y'all? If you tapped in, you already know who I am. If not, my name is Caleb Jarrell. You must sacrifice to grow. As we get older, as we go through our life, we graduate school, we finish college, we start working, different things like that. You're going to have to make sacrifices in the midst of those circumstances. There's going to be people that you have to remove yourself from, things that you can't no longer do. And it's not a negative thing. We have negative outlooks, negative perspectives sometimes. But what you have to recognize is that in order to get where we want to be at in life, we have to make sacrifices. It's inevitable. It's 2025 right now. We halfway through the year. What are you doing to put yourself where you want to be at in life? Whether it's an environment, a job, a class. We got to stop making excuses. We got to stop chasing the wrong things in life and start chasing our goals. Start chasing the things that we really want to do. It could be traveling. It could be your career. But what matters is starting today. A lot of times we prolong and procrastinate because we know the work that it's going to take to put in. And the more that we do that, the more that we become like everybody else. So we want results that's better than everybody else, but we doing everybody else's actions. And you expect to be at the top of the game. And it don't work like that. Life is about making deposits. The same way that you pay your barber a deposit or your tattoo artist a deposit in order to let them know, like, okay, boom, I'm serious about getting this work done. I'm serious about wanting this result. It's the same way in life. We can talk about all type of areas. You want your mental to improve? Start reading books. Read books that teach you something. You don't know where to start with that? I'll give you a good one. Start off with the Bible. Start off with Proverbs. Start reading self-help books. Books to help you understand finances, how to invest, how to save, how to increase your finances, where you need to be putting your money at. You want to grow and improve physically? You got to start eating more protein. This is a deposit that you have to make in order to grow muscle. So you have to feed yourself the things that you need in order to maintain and get to a level that you want to be at in life, in every area. You feel me? And we make it hard, but really life is simple. It comes down to being disciplined. It comes down to how bad we really want it. How bad are we going to stick to the past, stick to the code? Future got a song called Ain't No Way Around It. That's an old song. And to sum the song up, it basically means it ain't no way around it. It's just, it is what it is, basically, is what I'm saying. A lot of times we try to go around situations. We try to go around people to get the outcomes and the results that we want in life. We want people to do certain things. And we feel like we can force these things to happen without going through the things necessary. And life don't work like that. It ain't no way around it, so you might as well do what you got to do. You might as well do what you got to do to be where you want to be at. So what does that take? It takes locking in, getting on the grind, understanding the things that you need to do and actually doing them on a daily basis, every month, every year. So what does that look like? It looks like really putting your head down, focusing on the things that you want to do in life. Okay, boom, I got my head down, I'm focused. I know I want to get here. But what we try to do is we start today and we want results today. And it don't work like that. You think if you start learning an instrument today, you're going to be just as good as somebody else that's been playing it 2 years from now? No. Does that mean you don't have, natural potential or natural talent that just comes to you? Absolutely not. But in order to improve off of where you at today, you have to consistently put in the effort, consistently put in the deposits. And what happens is once you stick to the code, you stick to the same path, you stick to the discipline, you stick to the consistency, you start to recognize that it becomes more natural. Working out becomes more natural the more that you do it. Saving money becomes more natural the more that you do it. As soon as I get paid, boom, I'm putting a percentage into my savings. I'm transferring. I got automatic transfers. So when my money come in, when I get paid from my check or from my job, it's automatically going and I'm not even thinking about it. That's what happens when you're more consistent and disciplined. When you've put in the work, when you've did the time that you needed to do, when you've been used to doing the things that you need to do. It starts to become more natural. And it's not like this hump that you have to go over anymore, but the hump starts in the beginning. I promise you, once you get over that hump, I'm not saying it's a smooth ride from here on out, but it's a little bit easier to pick yourself up. It's a little bit easier to keep going. It's a little bit easier to tell people no. Why? Because you know what you want in life. You know what you're aiming for. You know what it is that you got to do to get to where you want to be at. And you're willing to take that risk. You're willing to take that sacrifice. And that's all you need. It's a willing vessel, a willing heart, a willing mindset to be like, you know what? Let me forget what everybody else around me is doing and just lock in on what it is that I need to do. I'm not saying that you're going to be locked in 24/7. You may be locked in all month. You may look up and have fun once or twice throughout the month. But what happens is we focus too much on the fun and neglect the disciplines, neglect the things that we need to be doing, neglect working out, neglect eating right, meal prepping, neglect focusing on our business, neglect reaching out to clients, neglect posting content. The things that we say we want to do for a living, to get away from this 9 to 5, to get away from this environment that we don't want to be in. And what sense does that make? We constantly neglecting the things that we need to do, but still doing the same things and expecting a different result. So how do you expect to improve in life when you're doing the same thing and constantly getting the same result? Sometimes you got to switch it up. So you have to assess. You have to reflect on what you've been doing wrong, on what you've been doing right, and build off of that momentum. And all of that comes with sacrificing. Sometimes you got to leave the females alone. A lot of times they're not nothing but a distraction anyways. But guess what? I know some people out there, they can't go without. I'll show you a successful man. I'll tell you what a successful man is. Somebody that's willing to do whatever it is it takes to get to where you want to be at. He's willing to go without. He's willing to focus on his goals. He's willing to focus on the things that he knows is going to better him. He's willing to put all the fun aside right now and do the things that he needs to do. So does that add up with you? Does that add up with your mentality? Does that add up with the people that you keep yourself around, the environments that you keep yourself around? And if it doesn't, there's time to change. There's time to improve. But when are you going to say enough is enough? When are you going to say I'm tired of being sick and tired? And start doing something about it. Start working out. Start eating healthier. Start focusing on your business. Start posting the content. Start writing the book. Start removing everything that doesn't need to be in your life. So stop making excuses. It don't matter where you at today, you can always change. You can always improve. Life is short. So you got to spend the time now to do what you need to do. You got to take the time that you have now to do what you need to do. Because a lot of y'all will be like, oh, I'm going to wait 10 years. I'm going to wait 5 years. I'm going to wait next month. What if you don't get that chance? What if you go out the way that you are today? If there was a way you could reflect on yourself after you pass, would you still have regrets? Would you be one of the people that say, dang, I should have done this. I wish I would have done this better. Don't get me wrong, you make mistakes in life. But don't let you not giving yourself an opportunity and being lazy and not trying, not focusing, not being disciplined be one of the things that you regret. Because that's a big mistake. And at this point, sometimes it's not a mistake, it's more of a choice and a decision. So what decision are you going to make? Make better decisions, make clearer decisions, and stick to them. That's the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe on the road to 1,000 subs.